State your name.
Skeet.
Where'd you get the name Skeet?
Phoebe. Actually, it's kind of just a little story. Phoebe Bardot, who was a friend of mine, a wonderful musician, is no longer with us. I'm sorry to say. But you can imagine with a name like Phoebe Bardot, he was comfortable with really ridiculous stage names. So he called me Skeet. It caught on. I don't know exactly why he called me that. And now many people know me by that name. I guess I've used that stage name for about 5 or 6 years.
Do you mind being called Skeet?
Not really. People who know me call me John. I'm John. And people who call me Skeet generally don't really know me except in my professional capacity as an entertainer.
At what age did you first notice hair on your chest?
22.
22.
I couldn't make a fist until I was 19.
When did you first start playing guitar?
Oh my. Yeah, 7. 7.
You were 7.
I was.
And how'd you start? How'd you get started? How'd you get your start?
My Uncle Joe gave me a really nice, old, little Gibson J40. I wish I had that guitar today. It was just an extra guitar he had. Him and his brother Clarence had a little duo.
Did he teach you how to tune your guitar?
Yeah. The interesting thing about this is this man's name was Joe Walsh. Different Joe Walsh, obviously, but this is the man who taught me my first 3 chords on a guitar. Joe Walsh.
When did you first start busting?
Well, Uncle Joe taught me his first 3 chords. D, G, and A7. Kind of old-fashioned A7 that Calvin singers use. So I was able to learn the words to a Patsy Cline song that was on the radio at the time. And it was a song called I Fall to Pieces. I still actually do it once in a while. It's the first song I learned to play and sing at the same time. And what was your question?
I was just asking you when did you first start busting?
When did I first start busting?
Yeah.
At that age, 7. I did it. I didn't know it was busting. I didn't even know I was going to get anything from it except to show off. Anyway, maybe I should say, for those of you who watch this whole video, if you don't know what a buster is. A buster is a street performer. It's called busking in England, Canada, all the other English-speaking countries. It's called busking all over Europe. In America, I guess we sort of call it street performing. This Patsy Cline song, now it's the only song I know, right?
When you're 7.
I'm 7. And it was a huge hit on the radio. Patsy was the first big crossover. So I took this little guitar once I felt I was confident enough to perform this one song. I took it on my front porch. This was an urban environment. There's a sidewalk, a porch, right, that acted as a stage, and a bus stop, almost directly in front of my front door. And so I would go out there about 7:50 in the morning, and for about 10 minutes I'd have more or less of a captive audience. This is back in the days when this was a poor neighborhood in a Midwestern city. Everybody rode the bus. So I would go out there with my little guitar, and I'd have this audience for about 10 minutes, and a bus would come along. And then another audience would begin to gather. And about 10 minutes later, a bus would come along. So I got a new audience every few minutes, which is good, because keep in mind, I only know one song. So the audience changing every few minutes is mostly a good thing. They gave me nickels, dimes, pat on my head. I don't know if you noticed, but most 7-year-olds are kind of cute. Apparently I was no exception, especially doing such a grown-up song. They also applauded occasionally. I was hooked. You can get money from this. And people love it. So I was really thrilled. And that's my first busking at 7 on the front porch. I taught myself how to play drums. I also tried to watch television whenever a band, the big bands were on and stuff, and I really watched the drummer. And I covered all the stuff that was on the radio at the time. So we covered Beatles. We covered, probably Meet the Beatles on Capitol, the first album. I'm sure we did pretty much all of that album. Beatles right up through about Rubber Soul. We did all that. But we also did Dave Clark 5, Peter and Gordon, Rolling Stones. It was the British invasion. And so we did all those songs, and certainly the hits off all their albums.
Were you busking this whole time? I mean, how long have you been a busker?
I don't know how I've been a busker. Well, if you count on my front porch when I was 7, I guess I've been a busker for 58 years.
So you were 3 when you started then?
No, 50.
The math.
Excuse me. 54 years.
54 years. Oh.
It's me.
So were you busking at the same time as you were playing at the little teen nightclubs, or did one end and then one begin again, or?
That's been the story of my whole professional life. Busking, yes, it always ended. Yeah. And then I was in a band.
Right.
But I always came back, which I didn't realize in 1964, I didn't know I was going to be busking again. I didn't even know it was called busking yet. But, I sort of did it intermittently, probably even then. But, at 14, 15, 16, self-confidence isn't one of the really big, characteristics of being an acutely self-conscious teenager. In a context like the teen nightclub, where I was supposed to be, sure, I wasn't self-conscious, and I enjoyed it. I never had stage fright. But I think for a few years I probably didn't go out on the street and try to get nickels and a pat on the head for a while. So
what is buskersbeat.com?
Buskersbeat.com is my blog. It's actually buskersbeat.com with ski. And I guess it's a sort of, I don't know, I'd like it to be sort of a how to be a busker, but also a kind of journal of my current busking adventures. I'll certainly talk about the busking adventures I've had over the years. And if you visit buskersbeat.com, there's a link right down there. I think you'll see a wide variety of information about busking. I'll also sort of report on interesting, happenings in the world of busking. About me. I have articles about many, many other buskers. And, I happen to be the singing, guitar-playing cliche of busking. But it will also be of interest to jugglers and mimes and actors and magicians and anybody who's trying to make a living on the street. Anywhere in the world is of interest to me and hopefully to you, and I will talk about them and use them as examples. I may even interview some of them. So please stay tuned for more of buskersbeat.com. Today is the beginning of changing it from a regular written blog, which has been up about, a few months. What I found out is I don't like to write. I'm too lazy. And this is a lot easier. And I think I'm going to actually make the decision to go ahead and make this, instead of a blog, a vlog, which means that my posts will probably be videos, predominantly videos. I'm not saying I'll never write another article for BustersBeat.com, maybe I will. But it's going to be predominantly videos, and it's going to be a video blog. So I hope this will make it even more amusing and of interest to all of you, aspiring buskers and current buskers. And if you are either of those, please leave comments down below. So, this is Skeet signing off for now.